So there's like all of these ways that we are constantly trading convenience, and often unnecessary convenience, for privacy, right? So if you take Amazon Alexa speakers or any smart speaker system, right?
Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 3:27.
You actually don't have to yell at it, okay? It uses far-field technology, so it can hear you from anywhere in the room.
So it can just hear you anywhere?
Yes. Well, everyone can hear you anyway.
Oh.
It's like, oh, it's so cool. I can turn my lights on and off with my voice. But in exchange for that, what you're doing is you're letting a whole system know when you turn your lights on, when you turn your lights off. So now your schedule is built into this big data profile. And all of a sudden, you don't really have privacy of how you live or what you do when. Look at the idea of smart fridges, right? Like it's scanning the inside of your fridge to see, and it's going, oh, well, it's super convenient because now you know that you're out of milk, so the fridge can just order milk for you. Well, what else does it know? It also knows how much milk you drink, how much alcohol you drink, how much meat you eat. What happens when that information about your diet gets synced up to your health information, and now you're being, subject to different rules, regulations, maybe if you live in a country with private healthcare, higher costs for your healthcare because your diet's bad and your smart fridge let them know. Fitbits, smartwatches, right? Everyone's like, oh, I gotta close my rings, 10,000 steps. Well, what if that's linked to this and it says, okay, well, if you don't exercise, then you can't access healthcare, or you missed your step count, so therefore you now have to be, you're penalized until you hit 100,000 steps this week. And we think about this as, it's always sold to us as like, we're helping you stay healthy, we're helping you stay fit. But in reality, what it's doing is just building this bigger and bigger profile on you to solve problems for you that you didn't even realize you had, or to optimize you, to make you this sort of like high-functioning pseudo-robot of like, okay, this is my sleeping status, this is how many steps I took, this is my diet, I am optimizing me. It's all about production, 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 and sales, sales, sales. Well, what happens when a life insurance provider requires those step counts to decide if they want to give you a policy? And then you can't get life insurance because this risk thing isn't saying you're taking enough steps. But because you can't get life insurance, you can't get a mortgage because you're legally required to have life insurance to get a mortgage. Well, now you can't own a home. And so what seems like something that's so innocent and so helpful, it's just helping me, hit my step counts and stay healthy, all of a sudden means you cannot buy a place to live. So much of digital advertising and pressure points to get you to shop is really built on like how you're feeling emotionally when you're buying stuff. And if your purchasing decisions, like at a supermarket, can give some sense of what your emotional state is, like let's say you're buying flowers and I'm sorry for your loss sympathy card. Well, the assumption would be that you're in a vulnerable state, something terrible has happened, and so the response from a sales perspective is, let's use that against you. Let's say, okay, this person's sad, this person's down, let's pump them to spend more money on stuff because they're vulnerable right now. And that's where the convenience really becomes like quite nefarious, because it's all about manipulating your emotions to get you to buy stuff, do stuff that you may not want to or need to actually buy or do. I'm sure a lot of people know the book 1984, right? The idea of like Big Brother, the state, there's a speaker and a camera in every house, and you're being watched, you're being recorded, and oh my gosh, there's no privacy. But what's so sort of surreal about that now is that we've opted into that by choice. We all carry around a supercomputer in our pocket, and it tracks where we go, and we tag who we were with when we were somewhere. All of our photos are on there, and they're geotagged. Where was I when I took this photo? And we've opted into a surveillance state. Like we've opted into Big Brother, but we've done it in a way that it's like somehow not as bad because it's a business that has all of this information instead of a government. Whereas it's sort of like, well, a government, at least a democratic government, is ultimately responsible to people when they go and vote, so they can vote them out if they've done too many horrible things. a company is, if you look at Facebook as an example, that's a company that's majority controlled by one person, Mark Zuckerberg. Is that really the system we want when we talk about our identities, our actions, and the tracking of what we do, where we go, who we're with? I mean, to me, that seems even more worrying than the 1984 scenario, because the suggestion is that we've done it by choice. The suggestion is that, it's helping, it's good. When in actual fact, it's just completely eliminated your ability to be private and anonymous in this world. I hope you enjoyed that. If you want to learn tons more about how this stuff is just taking over our lives, I wrote the book about it. It's like the Bible for entry-level how this stuff works. You can get it at littleblackdatabook.com.